Hello, recapers. Today's movie starts with a woman enjoying a perfect vacation with her husband. He tells her, "Baby, I love you," but suddenly a dangerous gang kills him in a violent way. These gang members thought no one could stop them, but they didn't know what she would do next. She would come after all of them. Welcome. I don't have many subscribers, but your comments really give me hope and motivation. Now picture this. A woman named Brenner is on a road trip with her husband, Dylan. They just want to relax and take a break from their busy lives. They're driving through the countryside, enjoying the peace. But Brenner isn't just a regular woman. She's very tough and well-trained, like someone from the military. Dylan is a police officer, a good one. As they're driving, an old, dirty truck speeds past them. The man inside yells something rude at Brenner, like, "Hey baby, I love you." It's not just rude, it's very disrespectful. Then the truck speeds off, driving wildly. Dylan and Brenner just shake their heads. They try to ignore it and stay in a good mood. Later, they stop at a small roadside diner to take a break. Brenner waits outside to relax, while Dylan goes into the bathroom. But guess who shows up again? That same jerk from the truck. His name's Butch. Yeah, Butch. And he's every bit as awful as you'd expect. He starts harassing Brenner, making her super uncomfortable. He leans in close, invading her space, saying things that would make anyone's skin crawl. Dylan comes back just in time and confronts the guy. The tension's thick, like they're about to throw punches. But before it gets out of hand, an older lady from the restaurant jumps in. She calms them both down, acting like some kind of peacekeeper. She says people in this town aren't used to seeing visitors, especially ones who actually look happy together. Then she warmly tells them to call her mom, like everyone does around here. "Listen, y'all order whatever you want because it's on Butch." Dylan thanks her, though it's pretty clear they're still feeling on edge. After their meal, the couple hits the road again, eventually stopping in the woods to camp out. They find a peaceful little clearing and decide to set up for the night. It's quiet, just trees and the sound of nature. Everything seems fine, until a female officer shows up. She walks over and chats with Brenner for a bit, acting friendly but giving off weird vibes. She warns them, people around here don't really like strangers, especially ones who decide to hang around the forest. Locals aren't real friendly to outsiders, so you be sure to stick to the trail. Creepy, right? They thank her, and she leaves. Still determined to make the most of their trip, Brenner and Dylan go hiking. They reach a fork in the trail. Dylan asks which way they should go. Brenner says left, not realizing that this decision will change everything. As they walk, rain starts pouring down. They rush through the forest and stumble across an old, shady-looking cabin. Figuring it's better than getting soaked, they go inside. It's kind of cozy, and for a moment, they forget all the weirdness and just enjoy being alone together. Sparks fly. Romance kicks in. For a while, they get to pretend the world isn't dangerous. Afterward, Brenner starts exploring the place. "I will not be your accomplice. Come on, we need to leave. We're already trespassing." She pokes around a back room and discovers something terrifying. A secret compartment stuffed with guns and ammo. "We need to get the hell out of here." Her instincts scream danger. She calls out to Dylan, and he checks outside. They're both spooked and decide to get out of there fast. But before they can escape, Butch ambushes them. He knocks them both out cold with the butt of his rifle. Next thing we know, they're tied up in a grimy room. Dylan's beaten, bleeding, and Butch is having way too much fun tormenting him. Brenner, helpless, is forced to watch as her husband suffers. In the middle of all this chaos, one of Butch's cronies pulls him aside and tells him that Dylan's a cop. That makes Butch freeze. Suddenly he's nervous. He walks back in all fake nice. "Didn't know you were police, man. Sorry about all this." Then, boom, he shoots them both, no mercy. His guys drag their bodies out to a pit in the woods, dig a hole, and toss them in like trash. But here's where the story flips. Brenner isn't dead. The bullets just grazed her enough to knock her out and make her bleed, but not enough to kill. She wakes up hours later, groggy but alive. The first thing she does is check on Dylan. He didn't make it. Crushed and heartbroken, she covers his body with branches. Her grief quickly turns to rage. She blames herself for choosing the left path. That one decision led them here. But then her training kicks in. She remembers who she is: deadly, smart, focused. It's payback time. She grabs a nearby axe and sets off into the woods with one mission: take down everyone involved. Meanwhile, back in town, Butch and his buddies are acting like they own the place. They treat people horribly, especially women. Ain't that right, girl? It's clear now. They've been kidnapping women and doing terrible things, and no one dares stop them. Even Mom, the woman from the diner, seems involved. She orders Butch around like she's running the show. Eat quick, I've got more work for you. Brenner, out in the wild, makes herself a deadly weapon from wood. Then she ambushes one of Butch's men, takes him out silently, and hides the body. She's clearly disturbed by what she's doing, but there's no going back. It's her or them. She keeps moving through the forest like a ghost swift, brutal. You're going to take me to the rest of your clan. At one point, she hacks off a guy's foot but spares his life, letting him crawl away terrified. Then, she finds Butch's cabin, the place where all the horror started, and blows it sky high. The explosion is massive, lighting up the forest. That's when a new character shows up, Sheriff Hobbs. He hears the blast, grabs his gun, confused and alarmed. Butch and Mom also see the smoke. Butch freaks out. See what those two idiots are up to? Realizing something's very wrong, Mom, clearly the brains behind this twisted operation, tells him to go check it out. Butch finds one of his guys barely clinging to life, mumbling about Brenner, that she's still alive. He throws him in the back of the truck and hurries back to town. But guess what? Brenner's already hiding in the back of that same truck, waiting for her next move. Back at their creepy little base, Butch breaks the news to Mom. Some of their people are dead. She's furious. She slaps him, blames him for everything, and demands he clean up the mess. Turns out Mom's more dangerous than she looks. She's got a whole network of shady people working for her, including some tech nerds who can dig up info on anyone. She orders one of them to run a background check on Brenner, completely unaware that the woman she tried to kill is already tearing their world apart. The guy stares at her, confused and panicked. Meanwhile, the woman everyone calls Mom is learning something that knocks her off balance. This woman she's after, Brenner, isn't just some random girl. She used to be in the military. She's trained like a pro. And now Mom realizes she messed with the wrong person. Out in the woods, Sheriff Hobbs is wandering around when he stumbles upon one of Butch's men, now lying dead in the dirt. Not wasting time, he grabs his radio and calls his team he's found a body. Back in the forest, Brenner's not just hiding. She's busy turning the place into a trap zone, setting snares and surprise attacks all over, ready for anyone who comes looking. Soon enough, Hobbs' team arrives at the same spot. One of his men leans in and tells him the guy on the ground was part of Mom's crew. Then he drops another bomb. Apparently, this whole chunk of forest is Mom's territory. She practically runs the place. The people in town don't just call her Mom as a nickname. She owns everything. Nothing happens without her say-so. Curious and suspicious, the sheriff says he wants to meet this Mom face to face. That night, Mom and her so-called kids gather to drink and mourn the guy they lost. They're drunk, sad, sprawled out everywhere. Butch wakes up groggy from the booze and stumbles into a room, only to find Brenner waiting. She's not there to talk. She takes a knife and slashes his throat, slow, cold, merciless. He gasps, struggles, but it's over. That was for her husband. Morning comes. Brenner's still hiding in the building when she sees one of Mom's men dragging a young girl into a locked room. It hits her hard. This girl isn't alone. There are more like her. Trapped, scared, abused. Brenner knows she can't just leave them. She sneaks in and opens the door, freeing the girls. But not all of them are ready to run. They've been through too much. One panics and screams, alerting a nearby guard. He rushes in and starts shooting. One of the girls is hit. She dies instantly. Brenner doesn't back down. She takes the guard out in a clever, brutal way and escapes with one of the girls, Emily. Together, they flee into the woods. Meanwhile, word gets back to Mom. Butch is dead, and the girls are gone. The news hits her like a truck. She's furious and heartbroken, especially over her son. She loses it, ordering her men to find Brenner at any cost. Every man, every dog, every resource mobilized. One of her guys tracks Brenner down, but he's no match for her traps. He ends up dead like the rest. Another man shows up. Brenner doesn't hesitate. She shoots him on the spot. That night, Brenner and Emily sit by a fire. It's a rare, calm moment. Emily opens up. She's pregnant, scared not just for herself, but for the baby. She knows if Mom finds her, she won't survive. Brenner puts a hand on her shoulder. "Everything's gonna be okay," she says. "I've got you." The next morning, Mom sends her top enforcer, a big guy with dogs, into the forest to track them down. They manage to catch Emily, but Brenner shows up just in time and takes them out. At the same time, Sheriff Hobbs arrives only to get shot in the leg by one of the bad guys. Brenner reacts instantly, takes the shooter down, and helps the sheriff to safety. The three of them regroup. Brenner tells the sheriff they can't stay in one place. If they do, they'll be hunted again and again. So they follow a stream, hoping to find help. That's when they run into the female officer who had warned Brenner and her husband earlier. Thinking she's an ally, they get into her car. Exhausted, Brenner and Emily fall asleep in the back seat. But when they wake up, it's a nightmare. They're surrounded. The officer had been working for Mom the whole time. She sold them out. Brenner and Emily are dragged off. Emily confesses she's pregnant with Butch's baby, hoping to save herself. Mom doesn't care. She sends Emily to another room and prepares Brenner for torture. Later, Emily comes with some food, but she's not really there to serve lunch. She knocks out the guard and helps Brenner escape. Now, angry and ready for revenge, Brenner goes into the main room where the gang is. She fights like a warrior, taking them down one by one. Meanwhile, the gang leader, Mom, grabs Emily and holds a knife to her neck. She tries to make Brenner stop fighting. Suddenly, a man attacks Brenner from behind. While Brenner is busy fighting, Mom cuts Emily's throat and runs away. Brenner defeats the man, but when she reaches Emily, it's too late. Emily is dead. 3 months later, Mom is sitting alone in a quiet garden, trying to forget the past. Then she gets a message. Judgment Day. Before she can do anything, a bullet hits her in the head. Brenner had been hiding, waiting for the right time. Now that her revenge is done, she quietly walks away into the forest. Her mission is complete. And that's how our story ends. What did you think about the ending? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown.